background, you see the driver there with the gold helmets making a bit of a sprint forward. That's because his kart's waiting for him, and he's just going to need to jump in it, because that's Max Shields. He's just been out in the junior Rotax class, and now he's straight out in junior pro kart as well. Harrison Johns will start on pole position with Max Shields in second place. Christian Oblang will start in third. Thank you very much for everybody that's got in touch. Emma Hurst-Grover has been on, wishing Harry all the very best. It's had a fairly decent opening race of the day, as we see Max Shields and Christian Oblang there deciding to either come into contact and have a majestic pirouette into the chicane. Now luckily it's not a rolling start, so they'll have enough time to come through and grid port, but quite sure what caused that. We just caught the tail end of it, but it was majestic nonetheless. Tracy Carter just wishing, picked that message up earlier on with wishing Tom Carter and Jensen Mason all the best. Michael Burke joins us once again, a big fan of the Alpha channel. It's 8:30 where he is, because he's on the other side of the globe, and we thank Michael for joining us. He spends a lot of time watching the kart in action on the Alpha channel. Just up there on the top of the gantry we see the some of our sponsors, Alchemy Car Care Products and Optima Motorsport as well. Looks like Harrison Johns has just got to be rolled back into position then for our juniors. Max Shields' car on the outside in second place. That looks like it's lined up fairly aggressively towards that first chicane. So we certainly know what Shields wants to be doing when the lights go out, as they look up. We're moving, and Shields does get a good start. Could he get round Harrison Johns into the first corner? Johns is going to try and hold firm, but Max Shields from second place comes round the outside and through into the lead. Christian Oblang then settles into second, with Johns in third place. And now, is there anything Oblang can do? Shields moved away in the previous race, and towards the end of it was even pumping in fastest laps of the race as well, as he opened up a gap of around about 2 seconds to Christian Oblang. These two perennial front runners in the junior ranks. Is there anything though Oblang can do on Shields? Shields, for me, the early races of the day aren't going to be the problem. It's as we go deeper into the day and tiredness starts to set in. Whilst he's had practice here yesterday in both karts, he certainly knows how to go round. Fatigue is going to be the big thing for me here with Max Shields. Certainly as we head towards the latter part of the day, the finals, 12 minutes plus 1 lap when he's having to jump between karts. Now granted, as there, Oblang goes out onto the curb and almost finds the grass as well. Later on when it comes to the finals, he's not jumping out of one and straight into the other, because we've got the way that the Honda grid works with theirs. They've got their B final, then we go straight into Junior Pro after that. Junior Rotax, I don't think until later on. I think that's our penultimate race of the day. So when that comes, we certainly won't have quite so much of a rush around, but we'll still be working hard. And by then it's 12 minutes plus 1 lap, so we're going to be looking at maybe 17, 18 laps maybe, certainly when we head towards our Rotaxes for their finals. So we're going to be certainly looking towards tiredness. Just having a quick look as well. Gemma Burgess has done some good luck to the X-Kart team from Jack Burgess. Now, if Emma, you could let me, Gemma, if you could let me know where Jack is this weekend, because he's a driver that we've seen here in the JKC in the early parts, and a driver that has really, really improved as well since his first race of the season. Has really shown continual improvement to really start moving himself now into some fairly decent battles in that class. So if you could let me know where he is this weekend, please, that would be the driver that I was really looking forward to sort of watching his progress continue here at Lydd, as Harrison Johns gets a little bit of snap oversteer as he takes the curve into the second chicane. Driver that joins us from Leeds in South Wales, so he'll be looking forward to Lydd in a few months' time, to Landau, sorry, in a few months' time when we go there in the middle of August over the weekend of the 13th and 14th for a track that will be, I'm sure he will excel at as we head deeper into this Junior and Cadet Kart Championship. When we're finished here today at Lydd, it will be the halfway point, and we'll be able to start really seeing where the obviously we race with a drop round, so the deeper we go into the season, we're going to get a more representative idea of where everybody's going to be, because at the moment we've only got 3 rounds, of which one of them is showing as a drop round. So if we go deeper into the year, we'll start being able to see representative times in terms of positions, and then we'll be heading towards the business end, Hooton and Ella Park at the end of the year, where certainly I think by Hooton we might be crowning 1 or 2 champions, and then at Ella we'll have our final race weekend of the year at the beginning of October. So 4 more rounds after this one here at Lydd. We go to GYG at the start of July, then we go to Landau in the middle of August, one of the only race meetings in this championship that isn't on the first weekend of the month. Hooton Park at the start of September, Ella Park at the start of October. Crowning some new champions. We'll see whether anybody can actually hang on to theirs. Max Shields, the reigning champion in the Junior Pro Karts, would love to hang on to that, making himself a double champion in the Junior Pro Kart ranks. So if you're wondering Junior Pro Karts, what they are, it is the Cadet engine, so the Honda Cadet that we've already seen earlier on. It's the same engine, but as you can see, they have an extra one, and it is on an adult Pro Kart frame. So our drivers that move into this class out of the cadets at the age of around about 11 or 12, they race up until the age of 16, so there is a decent spread in terms of ages, not quite as much as the cadets where they have that crossover as well. They can go from the year of their 8th birthday, so some of them can be 7, moving through then into the ages of nearly 13 in fact for some of our classes. In Honda Cadets we've got, just having a quick look at some of the other results that are coming in. A couple of drivers being investigated for these, so we'll have a look at those in a few minutes to see whether we've got any updates at all later on. It often takes around about 15-20 minutes if they have got issues in them, whereas if the races are clear, they'll just get them classified straight away and out. Oblang then now with 0.8 of a second off the back of Maximus Shields. So Shields not being able to move away at the rate that he did in the earlier parts of the first heat. This is the first one where he's actually had to go back to back as Oblang gets the fastest lap of the race with a 42.4. Harrison Johns around about 7 seconds further back, sticking with that. I think he was around about 10 off in the previous one, so still fairly consistent with his pace. You watch the 10 go down the middle straight into the chicane before the bottom end hairpin. Oblang then closing the gap to 7/10 at the end of this one with 2 minutes remaining. Johnson through then. We saw that where that track drops away down there into that corner. Very, very different lines there, depending on whether you're racing for position or whether you're defending, or whether you're just trying to catch up with somebody, because that involves a good run all the way around the outside and trying to close in on everybody else. You can really take advantage there if you haven't got a car behind you by running really, really wide onto the white line. I was watching from up on the bank where this camera point was yesterday, the differing lines from our Honda Cadet drivers. One driver that really stood out during that was Harris Roberts. He was taking a really, really different line to everybody else, potentially losing 2 or 3 kart lengths on entry, but really making that up through this middle part of the corner, and meant that he was carrying a lot more speed through that flick of a right and down towards the double apex right. So he really figured out where he could take advantage if he wasn't in a race situation to sort of get himself into a position to close up on those in front of him if he wasn't having to defend. So 30 seconds remaining then in this second heat for our Junior Pro Kart class. You see Jolly Pops has been on saying good luck to Callum Foster. Well, he's had a fairly decent result earlier on, but did pick up a front fairing penalty, unfortunately. Don't think it dropped him any places, because I think it's just moved him off the back of the pack that he was in terms of timing, but don't think it's dropped him down below those drivers behind that were having a battle further behind as the junior pros cross the line with 7 or 8 seconds remaining, which means we're going to have 2 more laps of action here as Harrison Johns puts in a personal best with a 43.203 in third place. Oblang then still 0.6 behind Max Shields. Shields has a quick look over his shoulder. He knows that Oblang's there, but probably not close enough unless Oblang can find something special in this final lap, or Shields makes a mistake. They'll come through then to complete lap number 12 in this junior pro kart race. So on to lap 13, they'll see the last lap on the overhead gantry. Shields in the latter part of the race once again pumps in a fastest lap with a 42.248. That opens the gap to Oblang by 0.3 and might be all he needs to make this one look far more comfortable than what it has actually been for Max Shields. Oblang's been there a lot closer than he was in heat number 1, where the gap was out to well over 2 seconds for the best part of it. Shields then will make his way through and round the back chicane for the final time. Onto the back straight and round the double apex right at the end of the lap here at Lydd. The final 2 corners navigated. It's the second heat victory in Junior Pro for Max Shields. Christian Oblang will cross the line 1.2 seconds behind for second place, with Harrison Johns cross the line in a few moments' time for third place. So Shields there, who's done the best part of 25 laps in 2 different karts back to back, takes a second victory in our Junior Pro Kart class.